On the surface, this was a Hollywood success story. A beloved comedian, a quiet home in a gated community, two children asleep upstairs. But in the early hours of May 28, 1998, laughter did not echo through this house. Gunshots did. This is not a story about fame. It is a story about warning signs that were seen and still somehow ignored. Tonight, we pull back the veil. Phil Hartman was widely regarded as one of the kindest men in comedy. Born in Canada and raised in California, he built his career through Saturday Night Live, The Simpsons, and NewsRadio. He was known for his versatility, his discipline, and his lack of ego, rare traits in Hollywood. Colleagues described him as professional, patient, and deeply devoted to his children. By the late 1990s, Phil was at the height of his career, but behind the scenes, his personal life was unraveling. Brynn Hartman met Phil in the mid-1980s. Their relationship was intense from the start. She struggled with substance abuse, particularly with cocaine and alcohol. Friends later described her behavior as increasingly erratic, volatile, and paranoid. Phil attempted to help her repeatedly. He paid for rehab, he sought therapy, and he stayed for the children. But the marriage was unstable. In the weeks before the murders, Brynn had relapsed. She feared Phil would leave her and that she would lose access to their children. Several friends later admitted that they were concerned. Some had even suggested Phil leave the house, but he did not. On the evening of May 27th, Phil and Brynn attended a dinner with friends. Witnesses later said Brynn drank heavily. Around 10:30 p.m., they returned home to their Encino, California residence. The children, Sean and Bergen, were already asleep. An argument followed. At some point in the early morning hours, while Phil slept, Brynn retrieved a .38 caliber handgun. She entered the bedroom. She fired 3 shots, one to the head, one to the chest, one to the neck. Phil Hartman died instantly. After killing her husband, Brynn drove to the home of a friend, Ron Douglas. She confessed. She said she had killed Phil. Douglas later testified that he urged her to turn herself in. Instead, after several hours, she returned home. Sometime around 6:20 a.m., Brynn Hartman locked herself in the bedroom, and she shot herself. The Hartmans' 2 children were unharmed. They were asleep in the house while both the deaths occurred. They later went to live with Phil's sister in Wisconsin, far away from Hollywood, cameras, and headlines. Their lives continued, forever marked by a night they could not remember, but would never escape. No charges were filed, no trial was held, but the questions remain. Why were repeated warning signs dismissed? Why did intervention never become separation? Why do we so often minimize danger when it comes from someone we know? Phil Hartman was not killed by fame. He was killed by family, by the belief that love could outlast instability. Some crimes do not come from strangers in the dark. They come from inside the home. And by the time the door closes, it's already too late. If you value historically accurate true crime told with respect, restraint, and truth, please subscribe to A Veil of Crime. And if you'd like to support this channel and help keep these stories documented, you can buy me a coffee. The link is on the channel. Every cup helps keep these stories from being forgotten. Until next time, keep your eyes open, because not all danger looks dangerous.